International rugby doesn't give you time. Not to think, not to reset, and not to hide the little things. This was the moment that standard got put to the test. Confidence can come quickly, but international rugby has a way of showing you exactly where you stand. After the opening hit-out against Grafton, this group has taken a step forward. Combinations were forming, belief was growing, and the foundations were there. But Japan under-23s was always going to be a different conversation. This was no longer about simply building cohesion. This was about finding out whether that cohesion could hold up against a genuine international standard. The morning after Grafton, the group was feeling it. Sore bodies, heavy legs, the first proper hit out together had done its job. Recovery became important, but even in recovery, the work didn't stop. The boys came together for a video session to look back at the basics of the Grafton game. Not coach-led, player-led, an honest review of the little things. Where shape looked good, where communication dropped away, where cohesion was still missing. But it was less about the result and more about building an understanding of how this team wanted to play. Later that day, the body got moving again, a lighter field session, just enough to wake the legs up, going back over shape, revisiting movements, and beginning to introduce a slightly different plan of attack for our next opponent. The novelty of the opening days was starting to wear off. This was becoming more clinical, more detailed, more determined.
Just you wait to listen for the storm. Hear the difference in the wind. When dark clouds form and start to turn, I'll run again.
Day 4 took that in another step in the right direction. The morning started with another video session, only this time it went much deeper. The focus turned to Japan. Based on their opening game, the boys will walk through exactly what this opening would ask of them. How to encounter certain shapes, how to react in different scenarios, what structure was needed when tempo lifted. It gave the players a deeper understanding of the level of detail involved in facing international opponent. This wasn't just about effort anymore. This was about execution, forwards and backs, then split into units. The backs headed down to the beach. The forwards, however, stayed locked into more video before taking those conversations onto the field. After discussing what was said in the video room, they took that into practice. Lineouts was the main focus.
Cancel! Yep. Come to me, yeah?
Learning how to counter certain parts of their lineout, but also learning how to attack properly and efficiently, like country Stockman would. And obviously, you can't have a forwards-focused morning without some scrum work, so that's where the scrum machine came out.
1, 2, 3, and 2, 3, 4, and 2, 3, 4.
Body height, timing, collective movement, the sort of detail that often gets overlooked until it's exposed. And for us, getting exposed was not an option. The middle part of the day gave the boys a chance to switch off briefly. Then by the afternoon, they were back into another field session. This time in club gear, a subtle reminder of exactly where everyone came from. Different clubs, different competitions, all feeding into that one jersey. By day 5, it was time to move. We travelled from Lennox Heads to Coffs Harbour, where we would stay for the remainder of the tour. A Stockman convoy heading down the coast, if you will.
Just finished up the first stint at Lennox Heads. We're on to phase 2, going to Coffs Harbour. Stopped off for a quick coffee at William Street and training this afternoon into Japan on Wednesday.
Sometimes you gotta pray for a victory. Yeah, I'm overzealous when I'm thinking about the cash flow. I never had no handouts, just came natural. I've been tested so much, all these wrestlers nice. All these different situations that I've been through. I seen pain trying to creep in through the window.
Half an hour out from Goffs. All the boys are really pumped for tomorrow. It's been a very short turnaround, but all the boys are fit and ready to go. No injuries so far. We had about an hour on the field for our first game, and since then we've had 2 or 3 sessions. So I think we're coming together as a team, and boys are really looking to get after it. And I think we're going to do a good job against this Japan side and really put them to the test.
Once everyone settled in, there wasn't time to waste. We headed straight to the venue where we would face Fiji later in the tour. This was our training field for the day. But this afternoon, it acted like a captain's run. The final chance to add finishing touches.
Set! Ball in! Happy come in, next to MC.
Final run-throughs, final movements. It was loud, it was detailed, it was thought through. But more than anything, it was clear the nerves were there now. Not bad nerves, good nerves. The kind that make players a little giddy, a little antsy, because everyone knew what was next.
Looking up, Buff, who you got? Yeah, push. Yummy. Set it out, eyes up. Yeah, I got ball. Wing is in.
This wasn't Grafton anymore. This was the first real international test. And from my perspective, there was a genuine hunger around the group to get out there and show exactly what country Stockman was about.
Yeah, go, ball. Hold there, MC, hold there, up. Eyes up, ball. Eyes up. Wait, look at the blind. Master.
I got a lesson plan for all my past mistakes. I swear I'm proud of all my best and my
Game
worst
day.
days.
The morning was spent calmly. Players relaxing, going down to the beach. Once again, that 6 a.m. coffee crew made their way. After having a team connection piece in the morning, the separate units of forwards and backs then split off to add the final details. This was it. The trip to Kempsey carried a different feeling. Still confident, still excited, but there was an edge to it now, because everyone in the group understood the opportunity in front of them. We departed the bus, put our bags down, and got kitted up. While warming up, across the field stood Eddie Jones, who was coaching the Japanese under-23 side, one of the sharpest minds in world rugby, and a coach Australian rugby knows all too well. His teams are prepared, clinical, precise, and built to get results, and that was obvious from the outset. Japan were fast, not just in speed, but in thought. Everything they did had intent, in and out of drills, minimal wasted movement, every player understanding their role and how it connected to the man around them. From my perspective, Eddie wanted one thing: tempo. Fast ball movement, fast decisions, fast pressure. It was a clear reminder of the standard that we were about to face as Stockman. And not gonna lie, there was a bit of intimidation in that. Not fear in the sense of backing away, but respect. Respect in the sense that imagine if we triumphed over this team. The mood before kickoff was calm. The plan had been laid out very clearly. There was belief in what was needed to be done. Now, it just came to the execution.
We studied up on Japan through our huddle. From our Saturday game onwards, we reviewed ourselves and we knew Japan were going to be quick, they were going to be tough. We were very prepared. We went into the game pretty ready. We were firing, and I think when we came out, we spent 20 minutes defending our own line, and to only end up 19-7 down at half-time, I think that was really commendable to the boys.
At this level, broken play gets punished, and that's exactly where Japan hurt us. Still, we refused to fold. Inside our 22, the defensive effort was courageous. Repeated Japan attacks kept coming, but time and time again, we held on. There was grit in it, patience in it, and slowly, we began to settle. The structure that had been spoken about all week was starting to appear. Every time we entered the Japanese half, we looked threatening. The clearest reward came from an attacking 5-metre scrum. Pressure built through shape, discipline, and patience. This is just a subtle reminder that when we got into the right areas and played to plan, it worked. At halftime, Japan led 19-7. Don't get me wrong, there was work to do, but there was absolutely no feeling at all that this was beyond us. Because despite the scoreboard, the contest still felt alive. This wasn't a game where Stockman looked outclassed. This was just a game where moments were deciding it. And in the second half, the belief only grew. The experience in the group started to matter too. Once again, you got to remember, these are grown men with rugby miles behind them against younger, fitter opposition. And to me, that experience becomes composure. And composure is what kept us in the fight. But Japan's clinical edge never disappeared. Whenever play became loose, whenever shape broke down, they were ruthless. That was the difference. Not effort, not heart, execution in moments.
seen the boys have that much of a crack, especially against an international team. We've come together, we've bonded, and we threw a punch at those blokes, and they were so good. They were so quick. They were very dense too. I've never felt that sore in my life after playing an international game, and I think that's one thing I learnt too. So I think when Buff went 60 and then tipped off to Trent Davison, and he dived over and pretty much put us within bloody touching distance. I looked at our boys and I thought there was a bit of a spark in here, and then it was a good effort from our boys, and definitely there was a stage there where I thought, yeah, we could definitely win this game.
The final score had Japan up 43-31, a loss on paper. But inside the group, it felt more layered than that. Naturally, there was disappointment. No one tours to lose, but there was pride as well. Pride in the way we stayed in the fight. Pride in the fact that against a highly drilled international team that had been training for months on end, we never stopped competing. And maybe most importantly, there was perspective. This game showed exactly what the standard is. How quickly you need to think, how connected you need to stay, how costly broken moments come, but it also showed something else. This group was capable of matching it. Not perfectly, not consistently enough yet, but capable. And that changes the mood of a tour, because now there's proof that this side belongs in these kind of matches, which means heading into Fiji, we aren't just hopeful anymore, we're hungry. And there's a lot more to prove than just that.